Good evening, everybody. I am VIL1 and welcome to round 11 of season 1 of Late Night Racing here at Circuit Paul Ricard in the south of France. Round number 11 at the halfway point already in the season. It's been an exciting season, I've got to say. Very competitive. It's been fantastic racing so far, and hoping for a good second half as well. In terms of the standings, so at the moment it is Jonathan Cox that leads by 17 points to Andreas or Andenge on 152 points. Total Peas is behind, and in fourth place we've got Aylin on 132. There's a bit of a gap to FTH in fifth place, 107. Now he won the Baku race, which was double points. He got the pole position as well, so it's why he's so high. But again, the level of driving has been fantastic this season. All the drivers getting ready. And we're already underway for the one-shot qualifying, something about this league which I found quite interesting. Again, it's difficult to commentate over one-shot qualifying as drivers are changing everywhere, so we'll keep an eye on first place at the moment. It is CRX Mars that is leading, although I do believe some drivers will be on the mediums and the softs, so we'll see at the end. So it's looking forward to a good race. So that the league's very different, as Peach retires from the session already, so he'll be starting from the back in the Mercedes. He'll be wanting to try and get back to winning ways after failing to finish the last few races. Andres is at the back as well in 18th. We're just waiting at the end. There'll be quite a few drivers I can imagine that will be invalidating the lap time, as this track is so difficult to keep between the white lines. It doesn't help as well when it's not that clear. It's quite a difficult track. We've got 5 viewers on the stream and as well, so good evening. Hope you enjoyed my commentary. Again, relatively new to commentary, but I'm enjoying it so far. At the moment, as we head into the final sector, it is Energetics and Ole who are fighting for that top spot. The Ferrari, Energetics hoping to try and get his first win. He's had a few podiums here and there as he puts a bit of slide on, and that puts Fatality to the top in the Ferrari. At the moment, and it's swapping and changing between Ole. I really don't know who's going to get top 8 at the moment. It might be a Ferrari front row lockout. At the back of Andreas. Let's go in the final corner then. Jonathan Cox comes out of nowhere. Who's going to get pole position? It's going to be Ole with 28.329. Fantastic lap there by the Ferrari driver, and that is qualifying over already. Quite a few drivers I can imagine being in 12th position with Total P, so yes, I'm imagining he validated the lap time. As here's your classification then. So as I imagine, yeah, there'll be some drivers on the medium tyres as well. So your top 3 is Ole, Jonathan Cox and Energetics, all separated under a 10th, so that's fantastic to see. And behind, just over a 10th, is Fatality in the Ferrari. Then it's Driftos on the mediums, Gods and Mars, CRX Duo there on softs at 29.0 and 29.1. JT Gelato, I think the pole sitter last time out in the Renault. He's P8. Paulie Orange winning Monaco. He's P9, and Lost Souls rounds out the top 10. Now remember last week we had a double points race around Austria, 100%. That was a fantastic race, taking part myself as well. But yeah, it was a great race. I got P9, so I got 4 points. Yeah, it was fantastic. I believe it. This is the moment where I'm very stupid. I believe it was. I'd like to think it was JT Gelato who won the race. So it was Aylin who actually got pole position last time out. So remember in this league you do get points for pole position as well. I think we get 2 points and a point for fastest laps. Qualifying is quite important as well. You know, if we want to get some extra points, it all matters at the end of the championship as well. As that could be the fine margin between winning and losing. So all the drivers picking their setups. The drivers that's the top 10 can start on whichever tyre they would like. The drivers in the top 10, whether that be softs or mediums, they'll be starting on them tyres. Obviously, the medium will be going longer. The softs will have more pace, but will probably die out more quicker. Or die out quicker, not more quicker. Apologies for my bad English. So we get underway, then let's go through the grid, then the full grid this time, shall we? We've got 19 out of 20, which is fantastic to see. So it's Ole, the Norwegian driver, at the front. And the 5, fantastic lap by him. Jonathan Cox not too far behind the championship leader. Another good qualifying there by the Brit. Energetics, he's a pit stop strategist then. Here we are. as we'll get everything set up as well as we go through the field. Again, might be a bit slow here trying to get everything ready set up, but not used to the commentary. So Jonathan Cox then in P2, Energetics in P3, Fatality in the Ferrari in P4, Droftas in P5 on the mediums, so he was the highest runner on the mediums. CRX Gods and CRX Mars 6th to 7th. JT Gelato, apologies if I've got that name wrong. He starts P8. Paulie Orange in P9. Lost Souls of Williams in P10. He'll be hoping for a good result. He's had a few difficult few races. AC Moto, a new driver to LNR, and hopefully he'll have a good race, and he qualifies P11. So just outside the top 10, but again, gets that 3 shots of tyres. Again, another newbie to LNR, Evil Hunter. I wish this guy himself, he's fantastic to race, so hopefully he has a good race himself. Alan, he actually shots on the hards, might I add as well, so he's going to go very long into the race. Again, interesting strategy, safety cars or any incidents in the first lap, stays out of trouble, he'll be fine. We'll go to the drivers that started on, so yeah, Alan also on the hards as well. Crooksy in P14, a few podiums recently, I think finished just outside the point sheet of penalties in Austria, unfortunately, as it's quite close there to the Haas of Alan in front. FTH, one in Baku, in the double points race. He also had a great race in Canada, got a podium, and also a good race in Austria as well. So he's in a good run of form, and he's looking to continue that. Terminator again, not scored a points in a few races, so he's looking to try and improve that. He starts on the hards with his teammate. Then we've got Vanderlei, another Norwegian driver. And at the back is Andreas and Total P's, 2 drivers high up in the standings, both regular podium finishers. They'll be trying to go long into the race. So that is your grid. We'll go back to the front then, shall we? It's Ole that starts on pole position. Let's get underway then, shall we? As the 5 lights will come on any second now. Any second now. And here we go then, to 5 red lights for the French Grand Prix. And we're going France, and it's a good start by Ole off the line. Jonathan Cox behind. Let's have a look then, shall we? All the time body off and all the time bodies, cars ghosting everywhere. Into the first corner we go then, and it is Ole that leads from Jonathan Cox, Fatality. I think Energetics did have a poor start there. He's dropped down to 3rd. We've got yellow flags at the back. Who's that? They've got a racing point going off there as well. There's so much going on here. Mars that's gone, unfortunately. I think at the back we had some problems. We're going to have to wait to the timing board because I have no idea who's where. I believe Pease was caught up in the inside. He's got wing damage. That's not good to see. Unfortunately, Pease does have wing damage. We'll wait for the timing board to sort itself out. And unfortunately, that is Mars in last place. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe at Last Maria. Right, it's back to normal. Then let's have a look. Then so it's Ole that leads from Jonathan Cox behind in the AlphaTauri. Fatality in 3rd. Energetics dropped a couple of positions there. So ever had a poor start off the line. We've got blue flags. We'll have to ignore that. Gods in P6, he's not lost any positions. Lost Souls then. Meanwhile, we've got movement as well at the front. Droftas, he's got past Fatality. We've got more yellow flags, and I think that's just for Pease as well. So he's having a difficult race. He's right at the back, and he's going to have a long way to go. He'll also hope for a safety car. Meanwhile, let's have a look at the drivers in who've had a better start, shall we? As we'll get that loaded up. Apologies again. Right, so the leader, yep, 1-1, and here we go. So at the moment, as we get, please get some 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings, dreaded words. So at the moment is Ole that leads. Droftas in a good position there on the mediums, but it is Droftas that benefited off the start as Energetics goes wide, and it'll put him under pressure as Pease unfortunately retires in the pits. But Energetics and Gods are side by side here. The Alfa Romeo's having a very, very punchy at the start. He's going to go down the inside of Energetics. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe just tyres already degrading away as Energetics goes off the track. That's the benefit of this track. They're side by side. That'll bring Lost Souls in on the mediums as well. Let's stay on board with him then, shall we? We're going to start to settle into the race. That's unfortunate for Pease as well. He wanted to get back to winning ways, and unfortunately that's not the case. Just lap 1 madness. And around France, especially that heavy braking going to turn 1, trying to get all through there. As Lost also gets a 3-second time penalty, but he has made 3 seconds off the start. Energetics, meanwhile, side by side with Gods. Gods probably thinks better of it. But as we head into the winding, twisting final sector, this could be interesting. The opportunity to go side by side. If you get dirty air, it might be a problem. Meanwhile, up top, Jonathan and Early are just bolting away here. They've had a good start. They've had a good race. There you go, pit stop strategy again. So it's Ole that leads from Jonathan at the end of lap 2. As I think now the timing boards start to work properly. As no, it hasn't. Well, yeah. So Droftas gets the fastest lap of the race in P3. Meanwhile, Jonathan is all over the back of Ole here. What can he do? DRS has been enabled, so it'll give him more advantage on straights. As I'll assume he'll have to get a drink. As yeah, so Jonathan Cox right at the back. Vanderlei has got a penalty, so he's on the 17th. Terminator Etich has made a decent start. He's made a couple of positions himself. As shown the hard, it's all about just making sure that you keep it clean and you should be in a good position. Meanwhile, the top 3 are in a league of their own here. Droftas in a good position, and that's Jonathan Cox, and he's got the DRS and he's made most of it, and he does take the lead of the French Grand Prix into the chicane. We go on the Mistral Straight. And that is a fantastic job there by Jonathan. Seems to cool head, got the job done here. He's quite low near rest, but he's trying to pull away from Ole, which is a good strategy. But they'll all be following each other here. Meanwhile, let's go further down then, shall we? Any more battles going on? As that's Gods, and that's Lost Souls as well. Lost Souls all over the back of the Alfa Romeo driver. Maybe his tyres might be going away. Lost Souls, he has showed pace in the flashy race. Has been so unfortunate with incidents as well. Just going to keep it on track, get the job done, and get into a rhythm. That's what it's all about. You don't necessarily have to be the quickest, but you about the most consistent as well. But obviously the pace is important. But you'll find a lot of times just staying out of trouble, not getting involved in any incidents, or just making mistakes yourself is a good place. As he's going to use this DRS as well on Gods. This is the closest battle on track we've got. As Ole and Jonathan is fluctuating, but I think Jonathan is starting to pull away here. Into the first corner we go. Lost Souls thinks better of it. Let's go back then, shall we? So Gods has got a 3-second time penalty there. It's a difficult one to manoeuvre right. Difficult corner to manoeuvre, get penalties. Meanwhile, Andreas here, one of the drivers that started at the back. He's on the back of FTH. He's on the mediums. Will he get past him? Oh, he's right on the back of him here. As he goes to the inside. Has he got the move done? Did FTH react to that? And that is a fantastic move there by Andreas, as Lost Souls gets him a penalty. Literally took him by surprise. FTH did not see that one coming, but he'll have DRS, I believe. Let's have a look. Let's go on board then with FTH. He will do as well. Is he going to go for a move down the inside? No, he won't actually. Anyway, let's go back with Droftas as he is so close. He goes to the inside of Ole and he's through. Ole can't fight it, and Droftas is through to second place. So he's having a fantastic race. The nearest medium runner to him is Lost Souls, as I believe he has got past Gods on that back straight, as I was too busy looking at the battle with Droftas and the battle with Andreas. But again, there's just movement all around the track. So yeah, the soft runners maybe by now will start to feel the wear, as Ole immediately picks, maybe trying to go for the 2-stop, trying to get the undercut on the drivers. He'll be put to the back, unfortunately, as the pack of drivers are still close together. So that means giving an advantage. Meanwhile, we've got Gods and Galato going side by side into turn 1, and I think Gods just had to let go there. Gods had the better straight line speed, and now he'll be trying to go after Lost Souls. His race pace, especially last time out in Austria, looks fantastic. So hopefully he'll be going for a good result tonight. He missed the last few races. I think he made his debut in Spain as well. Meanwhile, up front, Jonathan just doing his job. He's maintaining the gap to Droftas, but I think eventually Droftas will come good. He will have DRS as well, so he's going to just be reeling him in here. Fatality leaving a bit of a gap. Meanwhile, we've got Paulie Orange. He's got past Gods as well. So them soft tyres seen better days, and Crooks still have a go as well. And there is nothing to separate these two as they go side by side into the chicane. Who will come out on top here? And it will be Crooksy. So on their mediums, much fresher tyres, he's now going to start pushing. Evil Hunter doing a good job here. He's up to P10, but AC Immortal will be down the inside. Through the fast right-hander we go. Who will yield first? And it will be AC Immortal, Evil Hunter. Good job there on the hards. He's the highest hards runner. Meanwhile, unfortunately, Gods is just slipping back further and further. I think that's just down to tyre wear. Again, with this league, with the one-shot qualifying, it's not too much wear, maybe one lap. as in Q2, but again, not too much to get from conventional qualifying. As we've got cars peeling into the pits, we've got Energetics has to make that difficult start. He's going to pit, try to get his cut, and the race leader has pitted as well, Jonathan Cox. So that puts Droftas into a very, very comfortable position. He can go long in his first in on those mediums as well. Fatality, meanwhile, a further 3 seconds behind. Lost Souls on the medium. He can start wheeling in the German driver as well with Fatality, the Austrian driver himself. We've got Galato behind Lost Souls in the Renault. He's starting to make a tap. AC Immortal got another penalty. Multiple warnings again. It's so difficult to try and keep it between the white lines here. But at the same time, you just got to keep it clean. Like I said, most races you can just stay out of trouble and get a good position here. But at the moment we've only had one retirement, so it's not really been a race of attrition. Everyone's kept their head above water. Everyone's doing what they've got to do, which is really good to see. We've had seen some real nice clean racing. Unfortunately, at the start, as we've got AC Immortal weaving left and right to try and get off the slipstream. Aylin, remember last time he was P10 at the finishing line because of penalties. He finished P6. Just tells you how important it is in a race. He stayed out of trouble, did a 2-stop, went from soft to the end, got the fastest lap as well, I believe. So yeah, again, Jonathan Cox, talking about him as well. Last time at Austria, he unfortunately got involved in an incident with Paulie Orange, which resulted in him crashing out of the race, so he'll be trying to avenge, but again, he's on the hard, so he'll try and go long in the stint. Meanwhile, we've got Mars and we've got Treminator as well. I think Mars has just got Vast Treminator, but he's on those fresh softs. So when he pitted, he must have pitted. No, he didn't. He started on the softs. That's my bad. As he obviously spun at the start. Aylin, meanwhile, is all over the back of Immortal here. It's only a matter of time before he gets past him, as Andreas, out of completely nowhere, overtakes Aylin. Now, that's given Aylin wing damage, unfortunately. That was a bit of a difficult move there. I probably wouldn't have gone for the move there, and that's put Aylin in a tricky position because he wanted to go long in the first stint. Andreas might have got past, but he's given one of his rivals wing damage, which is a shame. He probably wanted to race clean. That's also what we want to see. He's all over the back of Immortal. He's going to go to the inside, but he thinks better of it. He's loving that inside move through there, isn't he? The closest battle on track is this one with Andreas. We've got Treminator as well, 4 tenths behind Mars. But again, an FTH here, side by side with Aylin, so he's now going to get past. We've got Andreas as well, past AC Immortal, to the outside. Immortal tries to hold it. Is he going to try and go for a switchback here and try and go for a run up to the fast right-hander? He has much more overtake, and he actually will go and fight back at him. They're side by side. Who's going to come out on top here? And it will be Immortal. So Andreas back to square one again. He's lost that position. He thought he got him into the chicane, but Immortal was some great driving there. Meanwhile, is he going to go for move to the inside? No, he won't. FTH pulling away from Aylin, unfortunately, with that wing damage. That took me by surprise as well. It most likely took him by surprise again. You can take such an hour line. We've got yellow flags in sector 3. What's going on here? I think we've got a spinning car, and it's Mars, I think. Not been a great race for Mars. We've got Immortal and Fatality in the pits. So medium runner, only 6 laps in. Mars pits now, I think. Yeah, he does. So he's had a difficult race so far. I think he wants to spin again. Jonathan, meanwhile, doing what he's got to do. He's currently in P12, but I'm not sure where he'd actually be in terms of pit stops, because a lot of the drivers have yet to pit. The softs, good for the qualifying. Perhaps in the long term, good to get the 1 stop. But again, this track, you can do the 2 stop and have the pace. You've got that long DRS straight. You've got corners where you can go for it, and have the courage to go for some lovely dive bombs. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for Andreas and Aylin there, as he's usually got most of his overtake to try and get past FTH. FTH is under pressure now, and Andreas into the chicane we go. FTH thinks better of it to fight him. Unfortunately, again on soft tyre, but once again he's going to do what Immortal did, as he did get a passing penalty to Immortal. I've got to mention that as well. So they're side by side again, but I think this time Andreas just might have the edge, and he does. As FTH put a bit of a wiggle on there. As we've got a battle here for P2, which is turning into a bit of a feisty one. We've got Lost Souls, Galato and Paulie Orange, all on the mediums. Meanwhile, Droftas has checked out for the even, I think. He's in P1, having a fantastic race. 5.4 seconds now the gap, and it will get bigger now that these 3 behind him are all battling in the Williams, Renault and the Haas. Obviously, in real life, the Williams and the Haas aren't having great seasons. Renault are, but up there tonight in LNR. which is great to see. Lost Souls in a really nice position here. He doesn't want to probably make a mistake again or retire. He wants to keep it on the track. He's definitely got the pace to be up there, which is a consistency, but it's fantastic to see him up there in P2. That's good to see. Galato in P3 behind. He's in the few races that he has definitely blown a few drivers away, and the only retirement we have so far is Total P's. But we'll go with Paulie Orange here then, shall we? I don't think there'll be any overtakes. I can't see Galato going to move that far back. Or you might do. No, he thinks better of it. And again, I don't think there's ever a chance in the first place. Now, Galato's in a nice position, because he's on 87% ERS, and he's definitely got the pace, I'd say. He's not having to push as much, but he's staying with Lost Souls. Same tyre wear, same everything. That's good to see from the Renault driver, and Lost Souls, meanwhile, it's actually the gaps being maintained between Lost Souls and Justice, as we've got another battle there. Ole and Trem, Ole with the DRS, fantastic to see. He's up to P11, Trem on them hards, just wants to go long into the race. He's down in P12, and Jonathan and I'll be breathing down his neck. Meanwhile, we've got a battle up front, and it's Galato and Paulie Orange. I think Paulie Orange must have taken the opportunity there, and the Renault has been overtaken by the Haas as Lost Souls goes into the pits. That's an early pit, because he's going to try and go for the one stop on the hards to the end. It is easily done here. It's a good track for hards, but that's Lost Souls into the pits. That's Galato and Paulie Orange. Evil Hunter obviously staying out on the hards, P5. Andreas had a little moment with A-Land and fantastic move on FTH, who was actually caught up to the back of him, so maybe his tyres are starting to come good now in that Red Bull. He's definitely very good at strategy in the past races that I've raced with him. One, he's been fantastic to race with, and then two, he's very good on his tyres, so watch out for him towards the end. He might be in a good position strategically. Trevor gets a 3-second time penalty through them awful first turns. Definitely very easy to pick up penalties again. It's not what he needs. Jonathan, meanwhile, doing what he's got to do, and that is keep up with the front runners. He's going to probably get past Terminator on the straights. He's definitely got more speed. He's caught up to him nearly a second a lap. So as we head on to the Mistral straight, I don't think Terminator will probably fight it here. So Jonathan goes to the inside, and that, an AlphaTauri on a Red Bull, on its sister team, the junior on the senior team. And he is through up to P11 and on the verge of the point. Obviously his drivers are still yet to pit. Meanwhile, FTH on the back of Andreas. We're going to take another drink. My throat is very dry right now. But yes, FTH on the back of Andreas still. Yeah, I think it's been a good job by the Red Bull so far. Second highest hard runner. Obviously he's starting on the hard, so did Evil Hunter. He's in a good position as well, I'd say. In a bit of no man's land, just pumping in those good laps. I've got to say I'm a fan of the helmet as well. I quite like that. As Jonathan gets a 3-second time penalty, as Andreas jumps to the pits. So again, he'll probably try and go to the end on the hard tyres. We've got Evil Hunter, obviously I mentioned Evil Hunter. A-Land with the wing damage, still going strong here in P7, so he's sticking to his strategy. Fair play to him. He knows he's got a bit of adversity, but he'll push through it, and it's good to see. Meanwhile, Jonathan got that 3-second time penalty, didn't he? He's starting to pull out a gap here on Jonathan's got to reel in Ole more than pull out a gap. The gap is 1.3 seconds, and that's a beautiful camera shot, I've got to say. Another drink of my water. Let's look at the closest battle then, shall we? Galato on the back of Paulie Orange, as that is coming out of the chicane, so he must have used DRS to his full effect. Cruxy, meanwhile, going about his business very quietly, and is only 3.5 seconds behind Galato here on the medium tyres. Definitely by surprise. He's just gone under the radar a little bit there, would you say? I think. Yeah, I think he's gone under the radar there. I was asking someone a question that I'm running the commentator here tonight. I'm rambling on. Meanwhile, Ole and Jonathan are side by side. Who's going to come out on top here? Jonathan must have got the good run on Ole, as it's not the wrong battle. What am I talking about? That's Vanderlei, fellow Norwegian drivers, but that was a nice battle. The reason the moment I realised it wasn't Jonathan was when he had the medium tyres on. Apologies there, but a nice bit of battle in there between Vanderlei and Ole. Vanderlei stood his ground and Ole had to persevere there, so good racing. As he goes round, he won't pit this lap. Meanwhile, we've got Galato in the pits. We've got Paulie Orange as well in the pits on the hards. Droftas as well. Now, where's Droftas going to come out here? This is going to be really crucial for the race. Where does he come out? Is he going to come out in front of Ole? And that's is a fantastic strategy call, and Droftas takes the net lead of the French Grand Prix. But Ole not too far behind on mediums that would have rubbed into the track, and also probably a bit more pace as well, get the temperature in. Vanderlei meanwhile has got his teammate behind him, so there might be a bit of multi-21 here. Some team orders. Jonathan has got Ola to catch up to, but again Vanderlei might fight it, which is fair enough. Everyone's got a right to battle. Meanwhile, Energetics on the back of Terminator. Again, I think this will be another sitting duck move, although in saying that, Terminator's showing some good straight line speed, but in saying that, into the Michelin chicane we've got Lost Souls as well, going to the inside. That's not going to end well. We're 3 wide into the chicane. Fantastic racing. Lost Souls has to go off onto the tarmac as he decides to explore some of what Paul Ricard has to offer. And whatever's happening here, so yeah, he's going to go around the outside of Energetics. They're side by side. Oh, this is fantastic racing to see. They're giving each other just enough room. Energetics getting his elbows out. Lost Souls, he's not giving up this one. Into the next complex of corners as we've got Paulie Orange there getting involved in the battle as well. Energetics does not want to be hauled up on these medium tyres. And Lost Souls there. What a great battle that was. Fantastic to see. Evil Hunter leads the Grand Prix to get to pit, so does FTH. But what a battle that was. Meanwhile, we've got the Renault of Galato getting past Terminator. We've got Paulie Orange and Energetics side by side. Into turn 1 we go. Lost Souls I think has got the job done. Energetics will shut the door. Paulie Orange is side by side. Oh, this is fantastic racing between the two here. The Haas and the Renault. Renault, we want to impress her. The bosses here, it's the French Grand Prix. The 9th and 10th currently, and Galato is going to get involved in the battle as well as he locks up. They're still side by side. Galato will get involved as well. And now the Renaults are going to be side by side. Energetics loses it nearly. Has he given his teammate weak damage? They're side by side onto the Michelin straight. He gets a 3-second time penalty for that. And Energetics are nearly going into a lot of problems there. As Lost Souls is probably taking a deep breath there and getting his head down. That was some good racing. And it's so nice to see everyone still on track. Again, France is quite lucky in that aspect that you can just go off track. Nothing really punishes drivers for mistakes, but at the same time, it's nice to see drivers staying on track and, you know, giving it a good battle. So, that's nice to see. We are at the halfway point now in the French Grand Prix. Evil Hunter does lead from FTH. His teammate Droftas currently in P3 now. I usually drive the McLaren, so Droftas is in my seat tonight, so go and do me proud, Droftas. Get some good results for McLaren. Evil Hunter is taking Isaac, so E-Reg's seat for tonight. I gotta say, that helmet is lovely. I think it goes well with the McLaren livery. I'm not sure if that was deliberate or not, but whatever. So, let's go back with the battle then, shall we, between the Renaults. As Galato does get past Energetics. Tremoret's not too far behind as well, so he's in a good position. Fatality, meanwhile, just stuck behind. Energetics does a little bit of a lock up there. Excuse me again. I'm definitely going to start to lose my voice now. And Andreas gets a 3-second time penalty. He's on the 3-lap hold hard. Meanwhile, Aylin is currently in P4, so again did a fantastic job with that wing damage that he sustained. As I think they might get past him here. Is he going to go for the move? Bit of it. Meanwhile, let's go with the closest battle then, shall we? At the moment, it's the Red Bull and the Ferrari here. Fatality all over the back of Terminator. He's not going to go for moving it. No, he thinks better of it. Very patient. That's good to see. Dodds is not so far behind as well. Energetic gets another 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings again. So he's on the mediums, but he's struggling, and he seems to not be able to get the pace, the temperature to the tyres. Well, we've got Fatality and Terminator side by side. Terminator giving Fatality enough room here. This is so nice to see. And once again, some lovely clean racing. As much as in real life the track might be boring, but in the game it definitely offers up a lot of overtakes and a lot of clean racing. Gods though, meanwhile, side by side with Tremors, he's got to defend out of nowhere, and the Alfa Romeo has spun and he's hit Terminator. Luckily the Terminator carries on, but unfortunately for Gods, that's put him onto the red out of the tarmac and giving him wing damage. Unfortunately, so he'll have to pit again. Meanwhile, Ole has got past Aylin into turn 1. That's really good to see. The gap between FTH and Droftas is starting to close, and Droftas is having a fantastic race on those hard tyres, pulling away from the medium runner of Ole. Jonathan is struggling at the moment, but I think he's starting to catch up now with Aylin as well in the Haas. any other battles going on here. So that's really unfortunate here for Gods. He's going to pit, so both CRX guys qualified 6 and 7, they're having difficult races. So yeah, Gods does pit again. Meanwhile, let's have a look at any of those battles. Let's go back with the three-car battle here, shall we? Aylin's actually still keeping with Ole. Megan should be in a position where the all the harder tyres should be battling. We've got yellow flags in sector 1. I believe that's in Vanderlei, and he must have been caught up in an incident there with Mars, unfortunately. Again, I'm not too sure, he might have just lost it on his own. But again, difficult race for these three guys, and Vanderlei's down to 17th from his teammate in P6, 2 tenths behind Aylin in a very fast and flowing final sector. It's difficult to follow a car, but if you can get a good run, you can get a good move. We saw it with Andreas, unfortunately it didn't pay off. As soon as they go to the outside, is he going to try and do the switchback? He downshifts that extra rotation. We've got Ole and Hunter pitting now, so Ole is doing that 2-stop when he is committing to it. Into the pits he goes. He's going to be outside the points when he comes out. Meanwhile, let's go back with Jonathan then, shall we? And he's side by side with Aylin. Into turn 1 we go. The Alpha Tauri in the Haas, giving it to her just enough room. It's Italy versus America. And Italy come out on top. The Italian-British driver of Jonathan Cox, spawning a very nice helmet, I've got to say so myself. And Aylin has unfortunately lost that battle to Jonathan Cox. Meanwhile, Lost Souls all over the back of Aylin now. He's kissing the back of that Haas with the Jack and Jones sponsored rear wing. Soon enough though, he might be past him. Aylin's starting to drop back now. Lost Souls side by side. He's nearly out of VRS though, and that means that actually Aylin's starting to pull away. Is Lost also going to go for moving to the chicane? He does do, and he has to take a bit of more curb to give him enough room. Aylin gets that 3-second time penalty, having to defend from Lost Souls, and he's through. Meanwhile, we've got Galato as well, who's made most of the situation, and he's got past Paulie Orange, I think. Or he's still ahead, but Aylin has lost 3 positions now. That might be trying to help his teammate and get past Galato. And unfortunately for them, he's starting to drop back. That's so unfortunate. But meanwhile, Fatality in 8th, Crooksy 9th, Terminator going back to this very quietly again in 10th. We'll go back to the battle then, shall we, at the front, and it is Galato. We'll go with the gap to the leader, as that is Aylin that goes into the pits. So finally going to pit. He's probably going to go soft or mediums to the end. I believe we'll go mediums. They play the soft option or the safe option. I can't get my words right tonight. Meanwhile, we'll go with a battle back at the front, shall we? We're swapping and changing between battles here. It's been non-stop racing all the race tonight. It's Galato with the fastest off the moment at 31.908. I can't see anyone around who would beat that unless wing damage or safety car at the end. Evil Hunter gets a time penalty, but at the moment it's Andres, Swedish driver, and Treminator in the Red Bull battling, and Hunter might get involved here with the battle. Yeah, at the moment it's a fantastic race so far, I've got to say. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. We'll go with the gap to the leader. We'll go with intervals so we can keep an eye out. Meanwhile, we'll go back to the battle. Nothing's going on here. We are going 3 wide into the chicane as Andreas. No, that's not ended well. And Andreas tried to go around the outside of Evil Hunter there. Look at if he's come off scot-free. But once again, Andreas caught up in an incident. Maybe a bit too eager to go into the chicane. Maybe he thought that Evil Hunter had gone, but once again, unfortunately, he's been caught up in an incident and he's got wing damage. And it's not been a good day for the driver. It's nearly at the top of the championship. Meanwhile, FD8 is doing a fantastic job keeping Justas behind. He will come out just outside the top 10, so again, good job. He's probably trying to go soft to the end. He might have the pace. Keep an eye on him. Justas, so 1.9 seconds to gap. We've got another battle going on here. Lost Souls goes to the outside of Jonathan Cox into turn 1. Is that Jonathan round? It is. And he takes the Renault of Galato. And Galato's hit the wall. And that is absolute scenes here. The virtual safety car is out, and a chain reaction there, where I believe that Lost Souls went round the outside, clipped Jonathan. Similar incident at the chicane. Believed he got the move done. As a result, Jonathan spun, tried to rejoin the track, or tried to catch the oversteer. As a result, took Galato with him, and he went straight into the wall, which caused the virtual safety car. Glasser without a front wing. That is pretty much, I think, his race over, unfortunately, today. He'll have to pit again. That was not what he had in mind. But Lost Souls is up to third now. It's an 8 seconds behind Droftas. So Droftas is genuinely having a fantastic race today. GS isn't able to game. We go racing again. The field's starting to spread out a little bit now. The gap, the bottom between Lost Souls, Jonathan and Paulie Orange, always similar, I'd say. But yeah, Jonathan unfortunately caught up in an incident. Now I don't know if he got any wing damage from there. It doesn't look like from that view he did. We've got yellows in sector 3 as well, as that is Galato that's gone off, so I think he's just moving out the way. That is such a shame. Evil Hunter meanwhile up to P8. Fantastic drive there. Obviously benefiting from the mistakes of other drivers, but again keeping his head down, and that's what I mentioned at the start of the race. But it's so unfortunate to see the incidents that are taking place here tonight. It's been some great racing, and it's just a shame to see that Galato is slowing all the way down, so I think he'll be pitting now, either to retire or go for the fastest lap. So at the moment no one's going to get the fastest lap. In he goes, he locks up into the pits, and this is the moment to choose, will he retire or will he carry on? I think he should carry on. There's always something to play for. We've got yellows in sector 3, and that's a Alfa Romeo of Gods who has spun again, unfortunately. And Gods is having a race to forget, and so is Mars down in 17th. He's on the soft, so he might go to the end, which is good. Yep, I was right. Galasso will carry on, which is good to see. FTH is on the softs in P8, 2.4 seconds behind Evil Hunter, which is over 3.7 seconds behind Crooksy. Now he might start pulling a gap here if he's got the pace to do so and catch up with Crooksy. Now he's having a fantastic race, and Fatality as well. Both drivers under the radar, just getting the job done. You know, staying out of trouble, trying to race well. I'm not saying any drivers haven't raced well tonight. I think it's just been quite unfortunate for some of the drivers. You know, it's two goods are going to one, or perhaps they thought they had the move done. And sometimes it is what it is, and you move on to the next race. But again, genuinely fantastic, clean racing by these guys. You know, it's, you don't want to see drivers involved in incidents, and sometimes that's just, again, that's just the way it is. I don't want to break into song and start singing that, but yeah. We got Crooksy in P6, Fatality in P5. Not much happening there at the moment. We've got two drivers pitting, that's Terminator and Andreas. So they're probably going to both go soft to the end. Terminator, fantastic first stint. I forgot that they're not even pitted yet. So that's great there by Terminator. Meanwhile, the gap between Lost Souls and Droftas is 7.2 seconds. We'll keep an eye on that battle, because Lost Souls might start reeling Droftas, but at the moment Droftas is in a world of his own. At the moment, FTH are now a second behind Evil Hunter. He's on them softs. He's got the pace. Purple sector 1. Oh yes, FTH. I mentioned about him going on the softs. He looks like he might have a good final few laps, as Mars gets the fastest lap and Terminator gets a penalty. Unfortunately, that's another multiple warnings. And again, I think it's from the first corner. It's such a pain, I've got to say, to try and stay out of trouble. Meanwhile, out of trouble, Evil Hunter might be in trouble here, as FDH goes to the inside. Evil Hunter gives him the room. That's great to see. I think FTH has got the move done, and he does indeed, and Evil Hunter is down to 8th place. Meanwhile, Crooksy still on the back of Fatality. He's doing a great job to keep him behind here. However, one thing to note is, if FTH has got the pace, he'll be catching up now to the back of these two hard runners who have done 7 and 12 laps respectively. FTH 1 lap on softs. Obviously the wear will be less as well, as there's less fuel in the car. That's just how it works. And FTH will hope to try and catch up to the 5th and 6th place, which will be good to see. FTH, yep, does get the fastest lap, so does beat Mart's fastest previous lap. We'll go back with Paulie Orange then, shall we? Jonathan, I believe, must have wing damage because he's starting to drop back, or unless he's tired, so he's just struggling generally for grip. Paulie Orange though, Lost Souls and Paulie Orange, both drivers who I'd say have been up there this season and been so unlucky with incidents, whatnot, or just bad luck. And yep, Paulie Orange P3 right now. 5.5 a second, so they're maintaining a similar gap here. Crooksy and Fatality, and the Redmond cuts across there, gets the job done on Fatality, and that now leaves him now vulnerable to the charging Turk of FTH. Good drive by the Red Bull driver, I've got to say, and Evil Hunter as well. Only meanwhile, after the pole sitter is currently in P9, so he's not having the best of races. But at the moment, yeah, good race. Alan obviously got the wing damage in P11. Just trying to damage limitation is the phrase. Terminator doesn't look like he's on to get any points today, unfortunately. Just not at the pace, I don't think, today, which is a shame because he was consistent point scorer, him, Fatality, and myself at the start of the season. But he'll come back to him eventually, and he'll get some of that good luck. Mars, meanwhile, on the behind Andreas. So actually, no, sorry, my bad. Andreas is behind Mars. He's behind Vanderlei himself. He should get past him here. Vanderlei's on the hard tyres. At the moment, it's starting to dim down a bit. I said about the gap, giving out in the gap. We've got 3-second time penalties though now for Paulie Orange as well. We've got Lost Souls in P2 still. 6.4 seconds. The gap has come down 8/10 about 3 laps. So at the moment, this guy here, Droftas, looks set to absolutely, well, pull off a fantastic strategy for one thing and just stay out of trouble. Good race as Tremor does get the fastest lap. So consolation there for a difficult race for the Red Bull driver. We'll go back to the nearest battle. Paulie Orange, meanwhile, all over the back of Lost Souls. He's got to start using something if he wants to get past Lost Souls here. We've got 5 laps to go. This race has whizzed past. Genuinely been a fantastic race. I've genuinely got about the same. FTH, meanwhile, side by side with Fatality, and he has got the move done. He's up to P6. He's starting to make moves now. That's really good to see. The gap between Jonathan and Paul Orange is now 3.5 seconds. So he's starting to wonder whether he did have slight wing damage, which is struggling generally. Paul Orange still at half a second. Lost Souls is doing absolute bits to keep him behind. We've got Fatality, the FTH, and the Evil Hunter, and then we've also got Ole further back in 9th, and Energetics round off the points in P10. So, FTH now, half a second behind Cruxy. He's on fresh softs. Is he going to get the move on this back in the main straight here? Evil Hunter might get past Valatelli himself on much fresher tyres. Into turn 1 we go. We've got yellow flags at Energetics who are spun. We'll get to that shortly. And FTH is through. Now, penalty situation. He might actually catch up to Jonathan Cox here. We'll keep an eye on this battle. Meanwhile, Podge still 6/10 behind Lost Soul, so doesn't look that much that's going to change that much. But yeah, Alan does get into the point finish, and that's really nice to see. And Energetics P11 right now. So he did spin. Probably just got a bit too happy on the throttle. But at the moment, your top 3 is Droftas, Lost Souls, and Paulie Orange. So I'll be getting these lads in for an interview after the race. Good to chat with them. But at the moment, we don't know what anything could change. This is Formula 1 we're talking about here. We don't know who the top 3 will be. Meanwhile, we'll talk about another battle ongoing here. Evil Hunter, 1/10 behind Fatality, right up his gearbox, but just not close enough to go for a move. Fatality's right behind Cruxy. Meanwhile, the gap is now 2.9 between STH. Now, I can see him catching. We'll check the penalty situation, shall we, whilst not much is going on. So FTH is currently got no penalty at all. Jonathan Cox has 1 penalty. So if the gap stays 3 seconds, FTH could get 4th place here. We'll check the penalty with Paulie Orange as well, shall we? And he only has 2 warnings. Lost Souls has many penalties, so there's a feel that he won't even get on the point. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 penalties. So he's got 15 seconds in penalties right now. So that would put him all the way down near 9th, 10th place. So that's not good to see. That's kind of explains why he's pushing so much, just to maintain the gap. It's not like Paul Orange is quick and he's letting by and he thinks, right, I want to focus on getting the podium here. So at the moment, Lost Souls might not even get a point. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. We've got a AlphaTauri, and that's Vanderlei again who spun. Oh, that's such a shame for the AlphaTauri driver, as Goz got past him who spun himself. And that corner seems to be a menace for drivers today. And unfortunately, Vanderlei is down in last place. He might come a bit too tight, he might just come a bit. He doesn't, he carries on, no damage, that's good to see. Lost Souls, meanwhile. And Paulie Orange, I missed that. Paul Orange has been overtaken, has overtaken Lost Souls, and now will leave him susceptible to Jonathan Cox, because now that Paul Orange is past, he might be able to start pulling out a gap, and with no penalties himself here, he might actually start reeling in the gap on Droftas, and that's such a shame for Lost Souls as well. He has such a good race, and as mentioned about penalties and staying out of trouble earlier on, he's P3, although he might not even finish. outside, he might finish outside the top 8 on points. 8th place one at the moment is fatality, but like I said, the penalty situation is on 15 seconds of penalties, so he'll probably finish between Ole or Aylan, so he might get 8th or 9th. This is the Ferrari driver here, fatality then, Evil Hunter on the back of Cruxy. He's finally got the good run here, 8 lap hold medium versus 11 lap hold hards. Definitely say which one's going in a better tyre situation, and that is Evil Hunter, but again, he might just give him behind, and he does, and the McLaren driver stays put in P7 right now. Lost Souls gets another penalty, and that now might just put the nail in the coffin for his race of getting any chance of getting points. Because now that is 18 seconds in penalties. That is a lot to come back from. We've got FTH 1.5 seconds behind Jonathan, so he's half that gap in 3 laps. I can see him maybe getting an overtake on the last lap here. So FTH might be on for some points here. Not just some points, but a podium. Andreas is pitted again, so perhaps he might be retiring from the race. Is he going to retire or is he going to carry on? 2 laps to go. I'd say probably just pitting for softs and going for the fastest lap. Good consolation. Indeed he does. He'll be going on to the softs. So at least then he may be just trying to get something for the difficult race. He'll be dead last, unfortunately. Vanderlei, meanwhile, again carrying on 17th. Spins. God's Immortal. I've not seen much of him today. He just doesn't seem to have had the pace, unfortunately. He's 15th in the Alfa Romeo. There's not been a great day for the Alfa Romeo team. Gelato obviously involved in that turn 1 incident with Jonathan and Lost Souls. Mars again spinning at lap 1, but to be 13th, it's a good place to be. Terminator again just staying out of trouble, but not really had the pace. He's 8.3 seconds behind Energetics. Meanwhile, we've got Energetics himself only 6/10 behind Aylan as he locks up again through the fast, windy last sector in the Renault. Aylan, meanwhile, 10th place in the points, that's good to see. Ole in the Ferrari, we've got 3 comments in the chat, we'll have a read of that shortly. Meanwhile, at the front, we've got Cardet, and that's a puncture. Jonathan Cox has got a puncture. With 1 lap to go, that has completely put the race on its head. Jonathan Cox tried to go long on these hards, 20 lap hold. I did not expect that at all. I thought he'd go to the end with only 2 laps to go. Jonathan Cox's race is over, and that has put him out of a frame. For 2 races running now, he might not even get any points at all. Ole now, he moves past, and the AlphaTauri is slipping down the grid. Now he is, and unfortunately, that's put him in 9th. He could probably, I'd say, go for the pits, but it will come out in 15, 16, unfortunately. And that has, unfortunately, cut his race short. I mean, the gap is 9.7 seconds, but I don't see a Lewis Hamilton from British Grand Prix happening. He probably won't be able to hold on for much longer. But at the moment, he's not doing too bad on those hards, with a puncture as well. Runs very wide, though, and he's sliding about, and he nearly loses it there, so he's going to lose so much more time. He's just... yeah, it's such a shame. It really is. I'm gutted for him. You know, he's in such a good position in that first stint, and he fell back a bit, and perhaps that was why he wanted to save the tyres, but even that wasn't enough. And with that puncture, he's going to go 1 more lap here. So the final lap of the Grand Prix, and this man here, Droftas, the Welshman himself, has done nothing wrong. He has done everything he's had to do today, and to give a win for McLaren, that's fantastic to see. In my car that he's driving in tonight as a reserve, it's good to see. It really is good to see in the McLaren. I'm not being biased at all. But no, in all seriousness, it's a good drive by the McLaren, and he genuinely hasn't put a foot wrong today. Paul Orange, meanwhile, just going about his business quietly. He obviously benefited from the incidents that happened, but he's done a fantastic job as well. Lost Souls, meanwhile, in P3. Although I would say P3, I don't think he'd even get that. Cruxy, meanwhile, and Evil Hunter are side by side in the final lap of the race. We will come out on top, and it is Cruxy that comes out on top here. But we'll go back to the Lost Souls and Paul the Orange battle. Jonathan, meanwhile, has now dropped out the points, and is he still going with the puncture? Because if he's still going with that puncture, then fair play to him. Really is fair play. P11 still going with a puncture. My respect for him. Meanwhile, let's go back with Droftas, shall we? Who wins the French Grand Prix? He did everything he needed to do today. What a drive by the Welshman. What a drive by the McLaren. Definitely my drive of the day. What a win. Paul Orange will finish in 2nd. Lost Souls in 3rd. But FDH hasn't got any penalties. He jumps up to third, so he does get the podium. Crooksy now into fourth. Even if Russell is dropping down the order now. We've got yellow flags is set to 3. I think that's Energetic struggling. Lost Souls is dropping down the order though, and will Ole cross the line? He does finish P8. So Lost Souls from podium place to P3 to P7. Elan meanwhile crosses the line. He doesn't go anywhere. He's P9, and Energetic rounds off the points in P10. Jonathan with a puncture crosses the line on penalty. Will he get any points? Unfortunately he doesn't, and Terminator will finish behind him in 12th, just behind Galar. So a difficult race for him today. We'll actually jump Terminator for P12, so he's closer to the points. AC Immortal, very quiet race, should be happy with his debut in LNR. Also has left the session. Vanderlei meanwhile crosses the line. He's had spins and troubles, but he's 15th. Andreas had some problems today, but he crosses the line in P16. We've got 2 more cars to go now. Mars crosses the line out of the RS. Galato's left the session as well. We've got 4 comments in the stream. We'll have a look at them all afterwards. Gods crosses the line to round off the final finishing position of what has been a rather interesting and rather chaotic final half of a French Grand Prix. Driver of the day then goes to FTH. What a fantastic drive that was. I said he might have a chance of getting a podium. He was in the bottom end of the points, but the fact he was able to fight through and get that point position, again, hats off. My hat goes off to him. Great drive by the Turkish driver there. As I get my breath back, what a race that's been, really. We'll get the drivers in then, shall we, for the podium? But we'll have a look at the podium first, then, shall we? We've got 7 viewers in the stream. Thank you for watching, and we've also got 4 comments as well. So I'll tell you what, we'll have a look at the stream now. I can have a breather, and we'll have a look at the comments, shall we? Just give me a second. Top 10 then, shall we, first. So Droftas wins the race in P5. Paul Orange in second. FTH with a very, very good drive in P15. Crooksy and Evil Hunter again, that's at the top 10, so that one stop definitely worked. Guys running 2 top walls, Ole, who was from Paul. Lost Souls at 7-4, then penalties. Alen, Energetics, complete your top 10. As the session has ended, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll get the drivers in for some podium interviews, shall we? We'll get them invited in, we'll have a chat and see what they thought of the race, because I think that was a rather interesting race. So we'll get the lads in, see if they want to join, have a little discussion. Definitely want to speak to FTH, so that was fantastic, and that last stint by him there. We've also got the race winner, Droftas, unstoppable today. No one could stop him, and that was great to see. Paulie Orange, we'll get him in as well. Believe I've got him as my friend list. I hope I do anyway. We'll have to find him on here. He should be coming up shortly, so we'll get Paulie Orange in as well. Again, not sure if all the drivers will join. Not sure if any will join. If not, we'll end the stream there. But I'm kind of hoping we have a chat with a couple of drivers. As this process is usually a long one. I've got to try and find Paulie Orange. PlayStation's been very slow. We've found him, so we'll add him in as well. We'll wait for them to join. We'll give it about 5 minutes. If they don't join, we'll leave it there. We've got 6 viewers on the stream, but we'll wait for the drivers to join. Podium interviews, have a chat. As we've got your race winner for tonight, Droftas, main man himself in the McLaren, in my seat tonight, the race winner.
Well, is that your seat?
I believe it is. But good evening, Droftas, race winner tonight.
Evening, mate.
That was fantastic. Tell me, what was going through your mind in that first stint? Obviously, again, I've just got to say, good drive. Just, yeah, that's all I've got to say, mate.
Yeah, well, I knew the softs weren't going to go to a one-stop without being dead hard, so I just knew stick with the guys on softs and we'll be alright here. So that was it, just try and stay as close to them as I could. Passed a couple of them when I obviously had a chance and come out in a load of free air in the end, so it's fairly straightforward.
Yeah, definitely. I think watching you there was that first stint. You got past Jonathan, and then you were away for the rest of the race. We didn't see much of you, and it was only on that on that final lap that that I actually saw you, across the line. So yeah, good drive today, mate. Good points from McLaren and for yourself as a reserve. I think that's a fantastic result. I think the one stop was definitely the strategy to go for. We've also unfortunately won't have FTH in the party tonight. I'm going to have a good chat with him about his fantastic drive from P15. But we'll have a chat with Paul Orange, shall we? The third place man.
Second place.
Second place man. Apologies there. Well, I can't even make mistakes on commentary as my voice cracks. So yeah, we've got Paul Orange, second place man. Good drive tonight, mate. Again, stayed out of trouble, and you got that. Got some good moves as well, especially on Paul Orange. Excuse me, I'm a bit half asleep. Good moves on Lost Souls. At what point did you realise that he had so many penalties? Because obviously he crossed the line behind, but he fell back to P7.
Oh well, Jeff knows all. Jeff knows everything. Lost Souls pitted a bit early, so I knew his tyres were going to die near the end anyway, so biding my time, wait for my moment. I didn't have to overtake, but I thought it would look cool, so I went for it. So why not?
That's good to see. Yeah, definitely. I think it was really nice to commentate on as well. Watching Lost Souls stay with you staying with Lost Souls, and wasn't much happened. Obviously, the overtake happened near the end, and I thought at one point you were actually going to catch up with Joftas towards the end. It looked like Joftas had just had enough to win the race, but yeah, it was really good to see tonight. There was an incident with I believe it was Lost Souls and Jonathan. Were you there when it happened? Have you got any insight into what happened?
Oh, when they touched. All I saw was them going into turn one. Obviously, they touched somehow. I didn't see what exactly happened. Then Cox sort of out of control, went left and managed to take out the guy I was struggling to get by. So, cheers for that, Cox, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the time you just gotta benefit from the mistakes of others.
That's right.
If you can
I've
stay
made
out,
enough mistakes recently. It's other people's turn.
If you can stay out of trouble,
It's your turn. Your turn to make some mistakes, mate.
I did on Thursday. I drove into a wall.
as we just some previous races. Yeah. But yeah, I think not much really from me, just apart from again fantastic drive, and it was really nice to commentate. I'm not really used to commentating myself, and I'm getting more used to it, and I think I'm learning new things as I go along. And my voice keeps cracking because I need a drink. So I want to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I've been VIL on UF1. This has been a Late Night Racing until next week, which we're racing in Britain. It'll be Britain. Until then, goodbye.